Well, hello there, it's Beards and Bangers, and today we're going to do an oil change, an air filter change on this Poseidon. So this applies to whether you've got any KV6 powered car. So yes, it's another part of getting this car ready for its MOT and making sure it's all in fine fettle. But if you've got a Rover 75 or MG ZT with a KV6 engine, then this video is for you. So some of the things I'm using, I am going to use Forte products in this video. Now, some of you say that these things are snake oil, waste of time, but you've got an older engine. This is on 130 odd thousand miles, or around that figure. You've got a lot of old deposits in there. This stuff is basically a solvent. So I'm going to use 4 Forte products. I'm not sponsored by Forte. I like Forte products. So what this one does, this is the new generation engine flush. It was called Advanced Motor Flush before, but they've had a bit of a kind of rebrand. Maybe they've changed their recipes slightly. But if you don't use this, then you run the car up with this in it for half an hour. I'm actually going to drive it around the block as well, just to really get this circulating in the system. What it does is it loosens everything up. So when you do drop the oil out, it's much thinner. So I know some of you have said it's a waste of time. I think it does make a difference. If you disagree, absolutely fine. What I'm also going to use is oil system protector. This is like a fortifier for the oil, so it just helps with an older engine, particularly when you've got these engines with the variable length inlet manifold, as these have, with the Viz manifold, as you know. Of course, I've got an air filter and I've got a genuine oil filter, and the only oil to use in a K series or a KV6 is Mobil Super 3000 5W40 fully synthetic. Again, disagree if you will, but this seems to be the best stuff, and it's what's recommended to go in MG Rover products. So first job, I'm actually going to fill the car up, the petrol treatments. I've got an injector cleaner and a fuel system treatment to go in as well. Now that's supposed to go into a full tank of fuel. So this car's obviously been sitting for quite some time, not kept a lot of fuel in it, because fuel, even E5, good quality E5 from Esso, goes stale very quickly. So I'm going to put the flushes in, and then I'm going to put another 20 litres of fuel in, or 4 gallons if we're talking. Actually, it is 4 gallons. It's a 4-gallon can. So that'll give us probably 3/4 to the best part of a full tank. So that's enough to use those additives with. And then while we're running the car up, those obviously will start getting to work on the injectors and getting to work on the fuel system, and just keeping everything in fine fettle. Again, disagree if you want. I'm going to use it. I think it works. Maybe it's the placebo effect, who knows. But let's get the additives in the fuel tank, get some fuel in, and then we'll get the oil flush running around the system in just a sec. So I've got my 2 products here. So I've got Petrol Specialist Injector Cleaner and Advanced Formula Petrol Treatment. So that's going to, I think, help get things cleaned up a bit inside. Haven't got much history with this car, so let's just pop that there very carefully for a sec. So we'll pop both of these in. I'm not going to show you putting 20 litres of fuel in the car, because you get that. You do get that. I'm sure you can work it out. I don't like bits of flappy. I do not like bits of flappy foil on bottles like this. I wish they wouldn't put these things on, to be honest, but I guess it makes the product last longer in the bottle. Get rid of that. Don't like that. We'll have a clean up later on, so that can go. We've got to be careful. We've got our anti-siphon valve, of course, in here, so we'll just let that one go in. We'll get that fuel in, and then we'll put the Forte in the actual oil system, and that will just run up, and I will just take it around the block on private land, I hasten to add, and that will just get things circulating. Obviously just idling is not quite enough. Let's just get the valves and everything moving up. That feels like it's empty, so that can just go down there for the moment. We've got another one here, so I'll get that done. Quite early this morning. This time of year I start waking up incredibly early after spending the whole of the winter struggling to get out of bed. But yeah, we're now into lighter evenings, which is lovely. Get rid of that. That can go in. So I've got about half a tank of fuel already in here. So by putting another 20 And I had to do a bit of a Walter Mitty job on this spout because the actual nozzle for this doesn't go into the anti-siphon. So I'm just gonna stand here for 5 minutes and do this. So I won't show you the whole thing because it's going to be quite boring for you. So I'll just turn the camera off. We'll just leave that in there like that. We'll get that filled up and then we'll move on to the actual the engine bay itself. Right, so we'll get our new generation engine flush in as well. Oh, that foil's come. Oh, that's got a different type cap on it. So make sure all the crud is out. Get that undone. So we'll do the air filter later on, even though we're under the engine bay now. So I can see, I'm just going to grab the camera because if we, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but if we just look in there, see there's crud on top of that cam cover. So that's the kind of crud that the Forte, I believe, dissolves. So we'll get that in. Tip half of it over the engine bay. Whoops. It's early. I'm tired. I've been doing a lot of lifting and carrying and stuff. So get that in there. A little bit of mayo under the cap, but I suspect that's probably condensation. It's unusual for KV6s to have their head gaskets go, but yeah, a little bit of mayo in there. We'll just clean that off and see if it comes back. So I'll just get a bit of brake cleaner in there and a bit of blue roll, and hopefully that doesn't come back. We'll keep an eye on that. But it is possible to rebuild these engines, but it's not something I really wanted to happen just yet. Right, so that's cleaned up. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on that, see if it comes back. I will give this engine bay a decent clean up at some point. I really do hope that's not gone. So I'm just going to fire the car up, make sure it's in neutral. So I'm going to set a half-an-hour timer on my phone. It can stay in longer, just don't leave it in there for too long. And that'll start getting to work on the engine. So I'm going to take, well, once it's warmed up a little bit, I'll take it round the corner. That bit of smoke is just the Forte flush just burning off because I was careless and spilt it everywhere. That'll burn off in a sec. Right, so I'm just gonna let that, I'm not gonna sit here with this running for half an hour, don't worry, we'll just let that do its thing, and then we'll jack the car up and drop the oil out and change the filter and all that. Right, so 15mm socket on a ratchet, oil filter chain remover. Don't know if that's gonna work, it might be difficult to get in. If I get under here and show you what we've got to deal with. So there's our filter and there's our sump plug, that's a 15mm. So I've got the wheel on full lock right. Hopefully it's not going to get sprayed out. So we'll go ahead and get the sump plug undone. We'll tackle the filter in a minute. I might be able to borrow a special tool from the lads because that's going to be pretty awkward getting the chain around that. So leave it to drain fully on a slight angle as well. So that's good. So the oil can flow out this way nicely. So I'll just get the camera positioned a bit differently and then we'll get that undone. Hopefully it's not too tight. Yeah, so pretty tight access because I've got axle stands on either side of the subframe plus oh, that is tight, you bastard. Oh, that is real tight. I've got the jack on as well. Whoa, that's now loose. Let's see if it is. There we go. Right, let's get my oil catch in exactly the right place. Hopefully, so I'm going to come round with this hand. Then hopefully I can whip. That's not quite off. So I think, because I'm looking at the oil filters there, and the paint on that is peeling. So I think this hasn't been done for a long while. So I'm expecting very, very black oil. Get it almost to there. We'll change the washer on that. You get a complimentary washer with the oil filter. Nearly there. Just mustn't drop this like I normally do, and then have to go rooting around in the oil. Here we go. There we are. I did get oily. Typical. That's hot. That's bloody hot. Right, so we'll just leave that for a good long time just to drain out. Yeah, definitely can that wheel fully over. That's flowing out. You can see that's the forte. So that's really thin. Obviously heating the oil up makes a big difference. But that really loosens everything up. That is proper black as well, so that's not been done for quite some time. So we'll leave that to really drain well. Then we'll get the filter off as well. I'm just going to go and clean my hand up now. Right, so while that's while that's draining out, we'll do the air filter. So that's just 2 screws here. I've got the dipstick. They're captive, so you can't lose these ones. So just a couple of screws there. Notice I've got the dipstick and the oil filler undone. This should just now... Have I missed one? This should just lift up and we can get the old air filter out. Let's have a look at it. Seen worse. Seen worse, but you know, that kind of detritus isn't going to help things. So let's grab a new air filter and get that in. We'll just retain this one for a sec. Move all my crud out of the way, because I have done this before where you order stuff from this is from Euro car parts, this stuff, and sometimes they supply the wrong parts. I'm using a man filter. Yeah, that's the same. So we'll get it in. And what I will do eventually, once the engine's been sort of fully sorted out with belts and all that, Am I the right way? I'm like that, aren't I? No, I'm not. I'm like this. It's because I'm at a funny angle. I'm going to go around the other side and do that, because I can't actually see what I'm doing because the car's so high up. That's in, there we are, that's good. Make sure that's all sealed down properly. And then we can just do it up. Oh, bit too tight. There we are, that's all done up, so that's the air filter done. Oil is still draining, so we're going to let it properly empty. I really want to make sure that all that crud's out, and then we'll get the filter off in a sec. Right, so I didn't film this because it's a bit awkward, but oil filter's out, so that's up there. So what we'll do is we'll go back above the car. I'm pretty satisfied that's still a bit coming out. I'll leave it a little bit longer because I want it to cool down a bit as well, because cold oil going into a hot engine and this was really hot, even though we got the oil cooler there. It's that's cooled down a lot, so it should be all right now. But we'll just let it just drain out a little bit more. Just clean everything up with a bit of brake cleaner and some blue roll, and then we can drop the car back down again once we put a new oil filter and sump plug back in and fill it up with oil. So we'll go through that in just a sec. So sump plug, clean it up with a bit of brake cleaner. Take the washer off, always replace this. This is a genuine, actually managed to get a genuine one. So the K series, you can't get genuine anymore. I'm just looking at this washer, and that's different. I don't know if you can pick that up. It's a different washer. So it's aluminium washer, but that was the same size bore, so it's going to work, but we always replace that on a KV6. So we'll put it on. I'm just hoping it's going to be all right, because that's a little bit smaller, but it's genuine, so we'll trust that it's going to work. So, and then what I'll do with this, I can't find any rubber grease at the moment, so we'll just fill it halfway with oil, just so it's a bit primed, and we'll just rub a little bit of oil around the rubber seal, just so it locates nicely and seals nicely. But yeah, maybe the last of the genuine filters. Very hard to get now. Yes, I bought a K series one for Bram, the BRM, which will feature in a video very soon, because he's actually over there, all MOT'd. So we'll show you what's happened with him in another video. But yeah, I won't show you, but just literally screw it on, hand tight, half filled with oil, and it is finger tight, and then just this goes back in, nipped up, doesn't have to be torqued or anything like that, but not too tight, nothing too tight, because we've got to get it undone again. And say this is an older engine, we'll probably do the oil change on this, I would say, in another, I don't know, 3,000 miles, because that's another good way of flushing the engine, is to run it with clean oil in and then drop it again a bit too soon. There's nothing wrong with over servicing cars, in my opinion. So a good thing to do when you've dropped the oil out is once you've done everything, everything's buttoned up under there now, by the way. Be careful because I'm not on the jack, but yeah, new filters under there, and the sump plugs back on with its new washer. But have a look at your oil. So it's dirty, but I had that mayonnaise under the coolant cap, and that is just condensation, because if the head gasket had gone that bad and you had mayonnaise under the cap, then this would be like a beigey, browny, creamy looking liquid. So yeah, I'm satisfied that the head gasket's okay. So I'll just move that. Obviously, we'll get rid of that safely at some juncture. So I'll put you back on the tripod, and we'll get the car down and get it filled with oil. All right, so let's drop him down. Right, so on the ground again, we can now fill up. So I'll talk you through that. I've had a good drain out. We'll leave. We don't need that anymore. That can go down here. We'll have a tidy up in a minute when we're finished. Got a little bit of oil on the floor, so I'll put some granules on that. So first job is just clean off the dipstick. Now the oil capacity on these is 5.7 litres, but of course we're putting in some Forte, what was called oil fortifier. I've got to find it. Where is it? So it's now called oil system protector. So it basically optimises the oil performance. We'll put that in after we put in the 5 litres, and then we'll top up with around 300. So just driving it around and having it idling, you've got that condensation. That's because the car's not being driven. And of course oil, synthetic motor oil, is hygroscopic, which means it likes absorbing water. We'll just keep an eye on that. So I'm not actually that worried. So we'll get our big boy, so we can dump all of this in with certainty. And this has hopefully got a nice spouty spout. There we are. It has got a nice spouty spout. I think it's got another bloody thing under there. So I'm not worried about putting oily bits on the interior of the engine, because this will all get cleaned up and detailed properly at some point. That cam cover is still quite dirty. We'll just gently pour that in. I've made a little bit of a mess, which is given for me. But of course, this is one of the perils of doing things without a lift and nice access. Obviously not filling the oil up. Anyone can do this. So we'll just gently pour that in there. And then we'll put our Forte in a sec. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to mix my Forte with whatever's left in this bottle, just so, because it's a little bit easier to pour, I find, with the spouty thing. So it's like an oil. You can probably hopefully see that going in. It's just another oil. So of course the capacity of the KV6 is 5.7 litres, 5.8, 5.7, 5.8. I can't actually remember off the top of my head. So we'll dipstick check it. So I'll put all of this in. So 5 litres of oil plus 400 mils of the fortifier, or the system protector. Get rid of that in a sec. And then we'll put another 300 mils in. We'll then fire the car up, leave it for a minute or so, check it on the dipstick and top up as necessary. And that really is it. But yeah, with any older car, and especially MG Rover cars, the KV6 is a strong engine. It's stronger than the K series. But just keep on top of your oil changes. We'll check the coolant as well on this in a minute. We'll check the power steering fluid too. We won't do the brakes today because that's going to be part of the MOT work. Just having those checked over. now that's like that, we can really tip it in. So I'm going to get this done, then we'll fire the car up, see how she sounds, check the dipstick, check the coolant, and off we go. Right, so we'll give her a fire up. Sorry, this is him, this one. Mustn't call my cars female names. So we'll let that run for a sec, just to get all the oil circulating, let that filter fill up. So I've probably overfilled it just ever so slightly, but we'll check on the dipstick in a sec. We won't let it get too hot, because I do want to check the coolant and top that up if necessary. And we're done. It's a simple job. Access is difficult. That's the hardest thing with this this car, is just getting access to it when you haven't got a ramp. Obviously, if you've got a ramp, it's just so much easier. But so that run for a sec. That's actually sounding quite sweet, isn't it? That's sounding a lot better. Let's get rid of some rubbish. We'll obviously have a tidy up as well once we've finished. And yeah, job, as they say, is a good one. Right, so quick check on the dipstick. That's had a minute just to settle down. There's a bit of condensation in there as well. We are full. There we are, perfect. That's good. So that's it. We're done. We're done. So there we are. Oh no, I'm not quite done. No, I want to do something else. Let's just angle the camera down. I hope this isn't going to bubble up. Hope it's not too warm. No, it's not. It's good. Maybe a bit. Just check the coolant level. Got to clamp these on pretty tight. They need a good clamp down. I've got a couple of spares of these. I always carry spares. They can fail. These didn't want to come off. There we are. Plenty of fluid in there. So that's good. Let's clean up around there. Give that a good clamp down. And there we are. So KV6 oil, first on the channel, KV6 oil change done. Let's get you in the behind the sun. There we are. So if you want to see more MG Rover content and other car content, test drives of classic Rovers, classic MGs, classic Triumphs, hit that subscribe button, bell notification if you don't already do so. Give us a thumbs up, share with your friends, drop a comment down below, and I shall see you again on the very next episode of Beards and Bangers very soon. Goodbye.